is Dr. Koichi Mera, Comfort Women, Not Sex Slaves. He is from Global Alliance from Historical Truth.
Thank you, Shizuko. I'm happy to talk today. I think Sharon's speech was excellent, superb. She talked a lot of things. I'll be talking only about comfort women issue. Just one of many issues Japan has. Now, this picture is a picture of in Glendale, California, 2013, where the Comfort Women statue is being erected. Many people are gathering to celebrate this occasion. Many of those people are Korean Americans and Koreans. And this is a statue of, say, Korean girl sitting in one chair. Symbolizes the Korean comfort woman. Now, this is a plaque beside this statue. Whoops. Okay. Now, what is written on the plaque is more than 200,000 women were coerced into sexual slavery by the Imperial Armed Forces of Japan between 1932 and 45. Then also, there is a recent problem in California, that is Department of Education in the state of California is trying to adopt the comfort women's topic in the history textbook. Then they are proposing that comfort women as example of institutionalized sexual slavery and the largest cases of human trafficking. Hundreds of thousands of women were forced into these situations. Now we are fighting against these movements, and I am particularly involved in the lawsuit requesting City of Glendale to remove the statue. Now, sadly, many people in the United States and some other countries as well are believing that comfort women were sex slaves for Japanese soldiers. Now, for example, the United Nations, the special report by Kumaraswamy, 1996, wrote those comfort women were sex slaves. Now, this comes from George Hick's book, The Comfort Woman, written 2 years prior. Then, on the basis of this Kumaraswamy report, U.S. House of Representatives made a resolution in 2007, and the comfort women were sex slaves, and also one of the sex slaves made a speech in the U.S. Congress, as you may know. Now, then I'm claiming this kind of understanding is a misunderstanding. And one important source of misunderstanding is the book by Seiji Yoshida. He wrote a book called My War Crimes, published 1983. 1983 is, more than 40 years after the war. And the question is why he wrote a book. He wrote a book, he claims, based on his own experience. And well, he led a team of the soldiers from Japan, went to Jeju Island, a small island south of the Korean Peninsula. Then, they hunt 205 young girls on the island. Now, then they were sent to the comfort stations in China. Now, this book was made a sensation and translated into Korean language, and many Koreans read this book. Question is why he wrote a book 40 years after the war. Immediately after the war, people knew what comfort women were, but over time, people tend to forget. So maybe that was a good time to write this kind of book. Now then, Asahi newspaper, this is a very prestigious newspaper in Japan, publicized Yoshida's story very widely, repeatedly. And but this Yoshida's book was discredited by a local reporter on Jeju Island in Korea. This reporter visited various places Yoshida mentioned, then found people saying, oh, there wasn't any such thing. 10 people were taken away from this place, 13 girls were taken from another place, this factory and so forth. And this local reporter found no evidence such a thing took place. And then later on, 1992, Professor Hata visited Jeju Island, and they confirmed that the local reporter's story is true. Yoshida's book is not based on the fact, but it's a fiction. But Asahi newspaper continued to publicize Yoshida's story. Now, what comfort women were? There is a book, there is a report written by U.S. military. This is U.S. military intelligence report, number 49, written in 1944, based on interviews with Korean comfort women in Burma. Now it's called Myanmar. Then it says that conclusion is comfort women were just prostitutes, or they were camp followers. They are very well paid. Many people are paid very much so that they could purchase houses, 3-4 houses, and they had a luxurious life. They had picnics and parties with soldiers. Some soldiers got married with comfort women, and they could refuse service. Comfort women could refuse service to those who they don't like. On the whole, comfort women had very good relationship with soldiers. They were admired by soldiers, and the comfort women took good care of the soldiers. And there was no antagonism between comfort women and Japanese soldiers. Now there is another report which is written by U.S. government. If I show the Japanese report, you may not trust. So I'm just giving U.S. sources. A interagency working group of U.S. government spent 7 years and $8 million to check there is any kind of, say, human rights violation by Japanese military during the war, and they could not find any. And also, Japanese government research in 2007 confirmed that there was no document supporting coercive recruitment of comfort women. Now, well, there is some exceptional cases, and that is Sumaran, Indonesia case. Low-level Japanese soldiers took Dutch captives, female captives, to comfort station and made them, comfort women. But as soon as supervisors found this incident, they were returned, those Dutch female captives were returned to the camp. Then those responsible were prosecuted and punished after the war. So similar case took place in the Philippines. And those are the exceptional cases. None of this kind happened in Korea or Taiwan. Now, but for some reason, Koreans try to compete with Japan and try to punish Japan for some reason, if there is any good reason. So the comfort women issue is one good tool for Koreans, and they try to make issue with Japan with the comfort women. And somehow, 1992, Japanese Prime Minister apologized to Koreans about the comfort women. So this was the beginning of the problem. And then Koreans tried to say, do Japan bashing with issue of the comfort women. However, the relation between the Japan and South Korea, they had a 1965 treaty, basic treaty. And Japan gave $800 million to South Korea. And with this basic treaty, all the issues have been resolved between the two countries. At least that is a conviction from the Japanese side. And the South Korean side may not agree. However, a South Korean government tried to do more, and they claim that 1965 treaty was not good treaty because the country of South Korea at that time was very weak, so they claim that was not really a good treaty. So anyway, South Koreans tried to get more after that. Now, however, the U.S. House made a resolution in 2007. So on this basis, Korean American groups tried to make Japan bashing since then, and they built a monument in Palisade Park, New Jersey, across on New Jersey in 2010. And then the Korean girl statue was built in Glendale, California, 2013. Then now they are proposing comfort women should be written into the textbook, history textbook. Well, this is a monument in Palisade Park in New Jersey. Okay, the question is, since there is no document proving that Japanese military used force in recruiting Korean girls, the only evidence, if concrete evidence is a testimony by ex-comfort women. So the question is, to what extent ex-comfort women's testimonies are reliable? Now, Professor An of Seoul National University, he was involved very heavily about the hearing from the ex-comfort women. He says those testimonies are not reliable. Then a first ex-comfort woman who showed up, Kim Hak-sun, said she was first told by her mother to Kisen School. This is a kind of, say, school for training entertainment. Then after that, she was told to, say, comfort station by father-in-law. Okay. Now there is a San Francisco State University professor, Sarah So. She's from Korea. She wrote a book, Comfort Women. And what she said in the book is that they were not possibly recruited by Japanese military or police. They expressed their life stories freely earlier, but later on, their testimonial narratives were altered to be consistent with coercive recruitment theory. So they changed the story. Okay, there is a superstar, Yonsu Lee. She appeared at the US Congress and she made a lot of speech. In the beginning, what she said in the beginning was that she sneaked out of home early in the morning with a friend to a recruiter, comfort women recruiter, where she received a red dress and a pair of leather shoes. And she was very much delighted. That was the story she made in the beginning. But later on, she told the subcommittee of US House that she was taken away by a Japanese person and girl while she was in bed at night. Now, Professor Park Yoo-ha of Sejong University, she published Comfort Women of an Empire in 2013 and 14, and comfort women were not possibly recruited. This is the Korean researcher, scholar. So there are two Korean scholars saying that they were not possibly recruited. Okay. Now, the Japanese government made a statement that's quite recent, February 16 of 2016. Deputy Minister of Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Shinsuke Sugiyama, made a statement at the UN Committee meeting on Japan on human rights in Geneva that comfort women were not sex slaves. They were not recruited coercively. The number of them were not 200,000, but much less. That was a statement made by Deputy Minister. Okay, conclusion is that Government of Japan finally made an explicit statement on comfort women. For reasons I have given, the comfort women were not sex slaves. Even scholars from Korea are stating they were not coercively recruited. And this information should be spread widely.